Most people chase love like a feeling. Few treat it as a practice. But feelings fade, practice deepens. Because love is not built in the grand moments, it's built in rhythm. Not in fireworks, but in steady flames that don't go out when the wind changes. Real love is repetition done with reverence. The world celebrates passion, the beginning, the spark, the confession. But the ancients celebrated constancy, the middle, the maintenance, the quiet devotion. They saw love not as emotion, but as discipline. The art of showing up when it's inconvenient, listening when you'd rather defend, and choosing calm when anger begs for control. That's love at its highest form, not as chaos, but as consciousness. The architecture of affection. Connection doesn't collapse in arguments, it collapses in absence. Not physical absence, emotional. When presence becomes unpredictable, safety dissolves. That's why affection must be rhythmic, not random. When you check in, when you keep your word, when your tone stays gentle, you build emotional architecture that feels like home. Safety is the foundation. Passion is the decoration. In every relationship that endures, you'll find this invisible truth. Predictability creates peace. The body relaxes when it knows it won't be startled by love, because consistency tells the nervous system, you're safe here. And that's what every heart craves, safety, not excitement. Why small gestures matter. We overestimate grand gestures and underestimate quiet effort. A note on the fridge, a text that says, I'm thinking of you. An honest apology. These are not small. They are sacred repetitions that whisper, I choose you. Ancient wisdom taught that repetition makes the ordinary divine. Anything done with awareness becomes worship. Every meal cooked with love, every hand held with presence, that's prayer in motion. Devotion as discipline. The ancients used the word seva, service through love. To serve wasn't subservience, it was honor. They believed love is sustained not through emotion, but through commitment. When you care for someone without scoreboard or agenda, when your kindness doesn't depend on convenience, that's not weakness, that's mastery. Because love without discipline burns out, but love with discipline burns steady for a lifetime. The practice of pausing. Most relationship damage happens between trigger and reaction. That space is where awareness must live. When someone hurts you, the mind screams, react, but the heart whispers, wait. In that waiting, compassion grows. Stillness doesn't mean silence. It means remembering the relationship matters more than the argument. The ancients called this ahimsa, non-violence in thought, word, and deed. Because you can win an argument and still lose connection. Pausing protects love. Listening as presence. To truly listen is the rarest gift. Not to reply, not to fix, but to understand. Most people hear words, few hear emotions, but when you listen with full attention, something magical happens. Walls soften, hearts open, healing begins. Listening says, you are safe to exist here, exactly as you are. That's the oxygen love needs to breathe. The discipline of appreciation. We lose love not because it disappears, but because we stop noticing it. Gratitude revives it, saying thank you for the ordinary, the meal, the patience, the presence, keeps affection alive. Without gratitude, routine turns invisible. With gratitude, routine becomes sacred. Ancient teachers began and ended their day with gratitude chants, not for ritual, for remembrance. Gratitude keeps love visible. Boundaries as balance. Love without boundaries becomes burnout. Boundaries without love become coldness. Discipline in love means balancing both, saying no with warmth and yes with integrity. The ancients viewed compassion and clarity as twins. If you protect your peace, you protect your love. Because exhaustion doesn't serve anyone. The most loving thing you can do sometimes is rest. From emotion to evolution. When love matures, it moves from emotion to evolution. It stops being something you fall into. It becomes something you rise within. That's when love transcends attraction and becomes alignment. You no longer seek comfort, you create it. You no longer chase passion, you embody it. You no longer fear change, you grow with it. That's love as spiritual practice. devotion through discipline. Pause. Think of someone you love. Ask yourself, am I showing up as consistency or intensity, as calm or chaos, as a partner or as a performance? Because love that lasts isn't proven in the moment you say, I love you. It's proven in the 1,000 quiet moments that follow. Show up. Not sometimes, but always. That's how love becomes sacred rhythm. Not something you fall into, but something you become.